Hi, I'm Dave. Lance and I go way back, from the Olympics in '96 to the Postal and Discovery days, and now we do. After close to 20 years on the road, we thought it would be fun to take a look behind the curtain. We'll share some tips and tricks on the bike, talk to a few people I've met along the way, and who knows what else. I'm totally making this up as I go. Okay guys, today I thought I would talk about bike wash. Now this bike's not really that dirty, but I've got some stuff I need to do to this bike. I need to replace the bar tape. I need to replace cable housing here that's gotten broken. So I want to go ahead and just wash it anyway. And I thought since it's such a nice day out, it's a good opportunity to just talk about a bike wash. So full disclosure, I was never, I repeat, never a bike mechanic for a pro team. I was always a soigneur, so I don't want any, oh, that's not how you do it, or whatever. You're probably not a bike mechanic either, so you can wash your own bike and maintain your own equipment and not pay someone to do that. So I like Blue Dawn, works really well, good amount, nice and soapy. Now that we've got that out of the way, I also like Simple Green for my degreaser. It doesn't have any acid in it. Make sure you get a degreaser that does not have acid in it. It's not great for your carbon and aluminum components, so be careful. So the first thing I learned from some of the Euros bike mechanics is take an old water bottle, cut it off, put it right in the water bottle cage. Get your favorite brush. I like this little round one. Toss that one to the side and start working on the chain. Just get it nice and cleaned up. Like I said, this bike's not really that dirty, but it's Lance's favorite bike. It stays here in Austin, so it doesn't get ridden a lot, but it still needs to be maintained, taken care of. So use your degreaser on the cogs, the chain, rear derailleur and pulleys. A long time ago, when I first started working for the national team, a lot of the Euro mechanics used diesel because, well, that's what they did. They went through so much of it, it was easily available. And they left grease stains and stuff all over the place. So anyway, hopefully we don't need to do that anymore. We've got some really good degreasers. You can shift the chain a little bit, move the chain out of the way, get the cogs that were underneath there. Just kind of get a nice sudsy thing going. Shouldn't take that long. And I like to rinse it off. Get all the big stuff off, and then I usually just do it again. I usually give it a couple of good coats. Make sure I get everything off, both the chain rings and the chain, so we can prepare it to take in new lube. It's my first time doing a bike wash with a camera strapped to my front, so I don't know how this is going to look. May have to do it again. I've got a special sponge in here. I take a sponge and I slice it, and that way you can put it on the chain like that. You can pedal it and really get everything off. And we'll rinse it again. Then just take the same soapy water, not the degreaser, just the soapy water. Do not get degreaser on the brake pads, or if you're riding a disc brake bike, don't get it on the brake pads or the rotors. You'll be that person that's always your bike's squeaking and squealing on the trail. You don't want to be that person. So I usually wash the tire and the rim, especially in a rim brake bike, because that's where your braking friction's coming from, the rim. So make sure it's clean and clear. Wash from the top down. One thing we haven't discussed so far, it's really nice to have a bike stand. If you don't have a bike stand, it's definitely worth it. You probably have a bike that's a few $1,000s. You want to maintain it, so go spend a couple $100, get a nice bike stand. It's good for bike washing, lube, wrapping the bars, anything you do to your bike. You really can't work on it without a bike stand, so it's definitely a worthwhile investment. All right, like I said, it wasn't really that dirty, but it's now clean. I can dry it off and we can go from there. Now that we've got a nice clean bike, let's move into drying it off, getting it ready to work on it, lube it, do whatever it is we're gonna do, get the water off, dry it. A lot of times, and today's gonna be one of those times, because I generally do this anytime I work on a bike, wash a bike, I've got an air compressor, and I use compressed air to blow off the water from the chain, brakes, etc., etc. Doesn't take a lot of air pressure. 35 or 40 is more than enough. It doesn't need to be crazy, but I do this. Just helps get all the water out of the derailleur and the pulley, the cog. Makes it a little bit quicker to get everything done to it you need. Like I said, it doesn't take a lot of air pressure. You don't need 80 pounds. 35 or 40, more than enough. If I were working on a bike with disc brakes and rotors, I would blow out the water from between the rotors and the pads. All right. Ready to move on to the next phase. All right, so the bike is clean and dried, ready to lube the chain. I really like this squirt. It's a water-based wax. It's nice, lasts a long time, easy to use. Doesn't pick up a lot of dirt, especially you put it on the day before, allow it to dry like you should. So it doesn't pick up a lot. Once I get a nice coating on the chain, I pedal the bike, pedal through the cogs, let some of the chain lube get on all the cogs, and then just let it dry. Next thing I usually do is I like to It's another one of these things that we picked up from the Euro mechanics. They used to put furniture polish on all the frames and the disc wheels on the TT bikes. I don't know if it's a psychological thing, but it does really tend to help keep the bike a little cleaner. Makes it really slick. It's really nice on some of these matte frames. A lot of frames these days are not necessarily glossy paint. They're more of a matte paint, so it really freshens those up and they look great. But this stuff tends to, you know, it's an easy thing to do. It might seem silly, but it does keep your bike a little cleaner. Makes it a little easier and quicker to wash if it's just got a little bit of a protectant on there. I suppose you could use car wax or anything, but this just seems so simple, and so many bike mechanics have been doing this, so it's nice to just a little added touch. Keep the bike clean. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of I still like TriFlow. I'm going to put TriFlow here on all the little pivots on the rear derailleur and the front derailleur. So we'll go get some TriFlow and we'll do that next. Okay, so I've got my TriFlow here. Like I said, I'm going to put this just in all the little joints that move, the little pivots. I've got my little straw attached, and I suppose you could use Bow Shield or any kind of a really thin, light lubricant. But just all the little pulleys and joints that move. There's a couple right in there, and there's one right down here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's one of those things we all do it. We don't know if it's really helping, but feels like it chases the water out, chases out any grit, and just keeps the derailleur moving freely. So there we go.